Exhibit 1. Reservoir 6.3 mile sun reflection test. What you're seeing right now is my first curvature test back in April 2016. I had been researching flat Earth since October 2015, but this was the first time I tested it with my Nikon P1000. I chose a distance of 6 miles because I wanted to test whether Rowbotham was telling the truth. He was. In this test, my wife was carrying a mirror at the opposite end of a reservoir, reflecting the sunlight from 6.3 miles away. I watched my wife place the mirror into the water. However, under the globe model, and that's taking the observation height into consideration, my wife should have been entirely obstructed by the curvature with a target hidden height over 12 feet. 12 feet should have been hidden by the alleged curvature, but there is simply no curvature over that her reservoir. I also want to quickly address the globe refraction argument. This is a still from the video. Here it is cropped and zoomed in. Here is a picture of what it looks like on the opposite shore, and you can see the strange branch that projects horizontally. If 12 feet should have been hidden behind the curvature, then my footage from 6.3 miles should have looked something like this. But the globe liars out there will claim that this 12-foot section hopped the curvature and is a mirage. But here's the problem with that. If this 12-foot section inexplicably hopped the curvature, then why didn't the rest of the view get distorted? There would be a cascading distortion effect. As you can see, there is no distortion accounting for this curvature hopping. Exhibit 2, Utah Lake 7.53 mile spotlight test. This was my next flat Earth test at Utah Lake in May 2016. This time my wife was carrying a spotlight 7.53 miles away, and I watched her place the spotlight right up to the water's edge. At 7.53 miles, my wife should have been entirely hidden by the curvature with a target hidden height of 21 feet. As you can see, the water is calm and flat. Obviously, this isn't a mirage. This is a direct line of sight to the other shore. In order to see this far, you need very calm water without miraging or atmospheric distortion. Be cautious, the liars out there will take pictures of distant mirages and call that the missing curvature. Exhibit 3, Utah Lake 7.53 mile frozen spotlight test. For this test, I reversed the previous Utah Lake test and I conducted this test in freezing conditions. Like the last time, my wife's spotlight should have been hidden 21 feet below the horizon. What's also important about this video is the fact that all of the lights and the reflections are symmetrical. A globe supporter wants you to believe that the spotlight is selectively arcing over the curvature, which is absurd. But if that's the case, then how come all of these lights are symmetrical, like they're above a mirror? Which of these lights are mirages? Which ones are selectively jumping over the hump of curvature? You would not see this unmistakable mirror symmetry if the globe model refraction claim was correct. Furthermore, my wife carried the spotlight from 50 feet up to the water surface. When did she turn into a mirage? Notwithstanding the absurd objections, it is obvious that the lake is flat. Water seeks its own level. So long as viewing conditions are clear, the globe model fails again and again. But don't trust me. Go out and do these tests yourself. Exhibit 4, the horizon test. What is the horizon? Under the globe model, the horizon is a physical barrier caused by the alleged curvature. Under the globe, the horizon marks the point where the water or ground geometrically begins to obscure distant objects. This is the official position. As I mentioned earlier, you can use a calculator like this one to determine the distance to the alleged globe physical horizon. In contrast, the flat Earth model says that the horizon is a matter of perspective. Artists get it. You'll see the same in a long corridor or in a tunnel. Just like how railroad tracks meet at the horizon, the ground and the sky similarly meet at the horizon. Do you think it's just coincidence that railroad tracks come together at the horizon? No, this is all a matter of perspective and has nothing to do with the physical curvature barrier. You can see this truth of perspective by just looking at the clouds of the horizon. You can see that the clouds follow perspective lines and are not bending around a curvature. In fact, you don't see any bending of clouds to match the curvature whatsoever. This is how sunsets work on a flat Earth. I have spent a lot of time and effort in testing the alleged globe horizon, and the globe model does not match reality whatsoever. For this horizon test, I was at the Great Salt Lake in Utah. I was observing a small piece of land at a distance of 1.34 miles. I brought the camera down to just a few inches above the water. Under the globe model, at just a few inches above the water, the horizon could not be further than 0.7 miles away. That's the maximum horizon distance under the globe model. There should not be any water visible beyond 0.7 miles, but you can clearly see the horizon extending many miles further than possible under the globe model. The naysayers will claim that this is a mirage or that the water is selectively refracting. Think about that. They're claiming that the bulge of water disappeared in front of the peninsula and then rose up miles beyond the peninsula but did not affect the peninsula with this magical act. The refraction excuse is nonsense, and each observation I've shown you so far clearly proves that. Exhibit 5, BMLS B69 and the oil platforms. This video is from my friend BMLS B69 in California. For this video, he's at an elevation of 105 feet. There are 3 oil platforms he's filming. The closest one is at 10.9 miles, the second is at 21.9 miles, and the third is at 26.4 miles. From that elevation, the horizon line cannot be further than 12.6 miles. In other words, under the globe model, the horizon should appear before the second platform, and 59 feet of the second platform should be hidden by the curvature. As you can see with your own eyes, the horizon is not only beyond the second platform, the horizon is beyond the third platform, further than 26.4 miles. 130 feet of the third platform should have been hidden below the horizon, but none of the platform is obstructed. We know this since the horizon is beyond the third platform. Did the bulge of water selectively disappear from in front of the second platform and then reappear well beyond the third platform? And this disappearing and reappearing magic effect happened all without affecting the 2 platforms themselves? Are you skeptics starting to see the problem with the globe yet? What do you do when the evidence you can reasonably gather completely contradicts your indoctrinated presumptions? Will you allow yourself to question your indoctrination, or will you hold fast to your comfortable conformity? I can show you many more of these horizon tests, all proving the globe model faults. But let's get to some of the laser tests.